All right, guys, welcome back to another video. And in today's video, what I'm going to do is actually break down four things that I have seen as very common themes throughout conversations. I've had hundreds of conversations with different men from all around the world that are high performing guys, that are entrepreneurs, business owners, dads, leaders. And there are four themes that I've seen very consistently through all these conversations that are holding most men back from having the body and the health that they want to have. And so in this video, I'm going to break down exactly, I'm so excited, I'm hitting the desk. I'm going to break down exactly what those four things are and how if you change these four things, you will be able to begin a new season for you with your body and your health. And I promise you that this video is going to add a ton of value to you and you're going to learn something. So let's rock and roll. All right, guys, what's going on? So let's break this down. As I said, I have talked to hundreds of guys over the last year. And it's crazy when you start asking the right questions. I did a post the other day talking about how, the quality of your life, just like the quality of your experience with ChatGPT, comes down to the quality of the questions that you're willing to ask, right? And what's crazy is I ask the same 12 to 15 questions with every guy that I get on a call with that could be a potential client in my coaching business to find out, listen, where are they at? Like, what's going on? What are they eating every day? What are they doing every day? What kind of exercise are they doing? What's their energy level like? How are they sleeping, right? How are they operating throughout the day? And have they been stuck at the same place for a while? Have they been making progress? Right. And this is an unscripted video. I'm literally just going to flow here and talk about these four things because they're massive. So number one is that most guys are dehydrated, okay? Chronically dehydrated. Now, when you look at this water, right, it's crazy how our bodies are 80% water, but also our brains are 80% water. And most guys, I say to them, okay, how much water do you drink in a day, right? And you know what most guys tell me? One glass of water in the morning. I drink a glass of water at night. Or they'll say, I'm drinking maybe two bottles of water a day, so maybe a liter of water in a day, maybe a liter and a half. There's very, very few people that are drinking more than 2 liters of water a day. And what's interesting about dehydration or chronic dehydration is it affects us in different ways. It affects your energy level. It affects how you digest food. It affects your metabolism. It affects your sleep quality. It affects your mental clarity, right? Your brain fog or lack of brain fog, right? There's so many things that get affected by being properly hydrated or chronically dehydrated. And if a guy would just measure his water, right? If a guy would just measure the amount of water that you drink every single day, and I don't measure with these. This is just an example for the video, but I measure with a shaker cup and I go, here's how many shaker cups a day I need to drink in order to hit my 4 liters. Because for me, I do 4 liters a day. I'll never forget when I went from 3 to 4, I felt it instantly. I've been dealing with slight headaches. One of my clients actually, about 2 weeks ago, he said, man, I got to tell you about something. He's like, dude, you know, I have to tell you, since we started working together, I have had zero headaches. He said, I didn't realize, but I was having these small headaches throughout the day. And as soon as we started working together, my headaches went away. And I said, yeah, bro, that's because you're hydrating properly, because that's exactly what happened to me. So, but from a body composition perspective as well, this is going to make a massive difference for you. So just trust me on this. Okay. Number two is tracking your protein. Okay. Tracking your protein. Now, a lot of guys, right? We are, creatures of habit, right? We've talked about this so much. We're creatures of habit, right? If you do something for 67 days in a row, you're going to create a habit that is then going to stick with you for the long term, hopefully for life. Now, the habit that most of us are in is that we only eat when we're hungry, or we only eat what we feel like, or we only eat the foods that we like, and we don't eat the foods we don't like, or we only eat say lunch and we skip breakfast, or, we only eat what our wife cooks or our girlfriend cooks or what our family's eating, right? Or we only eat what we're driving by. Well, I was driving by and I stopped here because it was convenient because I didn't have time, right? Like these are all conversations that so many of guys have had with me. And here's the deal. When I ask the question, how much protein do you get in a day? Most guys say, oh, I don't know. I've never tracked it, right? Most guys say, I don't know. I've never tracked my protein. And it's funny how as soon as you start tracking your protein, as soon as you start eating enough protein or raising your level of protein throughout the day, what happens is your body, you start to have more energy, you start to build more muscle, you start to burn more fat because muscle burns fat. So if you're building muscle, you're going to naturally burn more fat. You're going to be full longer, right? Your cravings for junk food and carbs and sweets and chips and fast food and all these things start to go away because you're like, well, number one, I'm not hungry, and number two, I'm way more satiated from eating something like a piece of red meat or a burger or a chicken breast or some tuna or a protein shake, a protein bar, getting some Quest protein chips, right? Getting a David bar, getting a beef stick with 10 grams of protein, right? You can go into a store, you can go to a fast food store and you can get a bag of chips, a bag of Doritos, and a chocolate bar, or you can go into a supplement store, which might be 2 blocks away, and you can get a bag of Quest chips and you can get a David bar or a beef stick, and now you're at 40, 50 grams of protein, and you're going, well, dude, now I feel good. It tasted amazing, right? And it's the same thing. It's just a choice. It's a decision that you have to make. So here's what I'm trying to say is most guys are not tracking their protein, and then most guys are not getting enough protein. So how much protein should you have, right? How much protein in a day should you have? Well, number one, you got to eat 0.82 grams per pound of body weight is like a baseline, right? Or call it zero point 0.8 for easy math, right? For me, I do one. So if I'm 208 pounds, I'm about 208 pounds, give or take roughly every day, right? I go for 200 grams a day of protein to keep an even number. So I track it. So I go, well, how many eggs did I have in the morning, right? Maybe there's a little protein in my oatmeal, not much, but there's a little bit, right? I go to the gym, I have 50 grams of protein in a shake every time I train, right? At night, I'm eating red meat or chicken, or lunch, I'm eating chicken, or I'm eating a steak or something like that. So it's interesting how we can start to think about this whole concept of tracking protein. And you might want to use Google, or there's apps, you could take a picture of your food, you can put it in Google, how many grams of protein is in 2 chicken breasts or whatever. And you're going to start to memorize, and you're going to start to remember these things. But I'm telling you, if you just track your protein and eat enough protein, 0.8 grams per pound of body weight at a minimum, or one to one if you really want to go all the way up, it's going to change your physique. Your body composition is going to change. You're going to drop fat. You're going to drop bad weight. You're going to put on muscle. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be full longer. You're going to feel more satiated. All these different things. Okay. Number three is your sleep. Okay. So a lot of guys, I get on a call, most guys, I get on a call with them and I say, okay, well, tell me about your sleep. Right. And most guys are saying, well, I wake up a lot throughout the night, or I only get 5-6 hours a night, or, my sleep quality is really not that good. Most guys have no idea. They don't track their sleep. So they just go off, well, I went to bed when I was finished working and I got up when my kids woke up, or whatever. There's no type of routine or sleep routine or anything like that. And so with my private clients that I work with, I actually give them a sleep routine. And in this sleep routine, it starts at like noon, right? Or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like from 2 o'clock till you go to bed. Here's some things that you can do that are very easy, very simple. They don't take any time. It's just being mindful and then creating a good pattern of sleeping where you're getting enough sleep, you're getting high quality sleep. And this is going to do so many things for you. I mean, sleeping is a superpower, right? You're going to wake up leaner. If you sleep the right amount of hours and you get quality sleep, you're going to burn fat. You're going to recover and build muscle. Like I've tested this where I'll sleep 9 hours a night and I wake up and I look leaner and more filled out than if I slept 6 hours of crappy sleep. I'm a little bit bloated and my muscles don't look as full. Right? This is a simple thing. It's like you can literally eyeball it. But then if you start tracking and you start looking at like, okay, well, what was the quality of my sleep? Well, what disrupted my sleep? Things like alcohol, things like caffeine will disrupt your sleep. Things like eating a heavy meal or a heavy food too close to bedtime as well is going to interrupt your sleep. So this is the third thing is take care of your sleep and try to sleep like a professional, right? Cool the room down, black the room out. Get yourself to a point where sleep is one of the most important parts of your health and your routine, because you're going to wake up, you're going to feel like a superhero after sleeping the right way and getting the right amount of sleep, the right quality of sleep. You're going to fix a lot of the mental health stuff. A lot of people have mental health stuff going on, or they struggle with stuff going on in their mind, and they're having a hard time with their mindset, controlling their emotions, all these different things. And a lot of that comes down to they're just burnt out, or they have chronic sleep deprivation, right? So once we align the sleep part and the protein and the water, things start to come together and things start to feel like more solid and more put in place, right? You start to feel like, you know what, I'm actually beginning to get into a bit of a rhythm. And then the fourth thing and the last thing, guys, is getting your steps in and getting your walking in. Okay. I used to run all the time. I used to have a dog that used to run. So I used to run with my dog, and I never had the physique that I wanted when I was running. I would try, I'd be like, oh, I got to run more. Right. But I could never get the physique I wanted. And the body that I wanted and the energy that I wanted. I'd always feel tired after running. My knees would be a little bit sore sometimes. I'd come down and I'd be like, dude, like now I'm super hungry, all these things. So I'm eating a ton of food after a run, etc. And the more that I've learned about walking and the more that I've studied walking, and I just came back from an hour walk out in the sun, right, which is incredible. It's like you can develop a habit of walking. I do 45 minutes a day, 5 days a week is my routine, right? I'm also biking and stuff like that. So you also have to factor in rest and recovery. But when you walk and you get, let's call it 10,000 plus steps a day, I just put 45 minutes on my clock, and that's what I do. And if you could walk on a hill, right? I live at the top of a hill. So I walk down the hill to the bottom. I have a specific tree that I walk to. I touch the tree, I turn around, I walk back. It's crazy how you can stay lean just from walking. You can literally drop body fat like crazy. This is another thing I have my clients to do is they're walking every single day. They're getting their steps in. So you can get a treadmill for the office. You can do calls in your office walking if that's your thing. You can put a walking pad under your desk. You can sit and walk while you're working. Or if you're like me, you go outside, you breathe the fresh air, you walk. And I'm telling you right now, like walking, tracking your protein, tracking your water, focusing on your sleep, like you do those four things, you're going to be miles ahead of most guys out there just by doing these simple things. But it takes discipline. It takes knowing, what to do and having the right information. And then to really lock it in, it takes having accountability, and it takes having somebody to run with you and walk with you to help you build these habits, and to just do it long enough till it becomes habitual and it's locked in. Okay. So guys, once again, thank you so much for following my channel. I haven't posted a long video in a while because I've been crazy busy, but I have been throwing up shorts every few days. So make sure you check out the shorts. Like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to continue to bring value over here. And I got some new stuff that's launching and some new things that are going to be coming out that I'm going to be very, very excited to share with you guys really, really soon. So with that, take care. God bless. And we'll see you guys on the next one.